Tehreek-e-Deoband: The basic and foremost aim of the Aligarh movement was the social, economic and political renaissance of the Muslims. Since the ulama and religious leaders of the Muslims also took part in the 1857 War of Independence, they too had to bear British wrath after the war. The British in an outrageous manner had destroyed Muslim religious institutions and closed down all madrasah and preaching places of the Muslims as part of their policy of mass elimination of the Muslims. Consequently, the efforts of the spread of Islam were greatly affected. The British did not stop here. After establishing their supreme hegemony over the subcontinent, the British began preaching Christianity to convert the Indian people into Christian. The religious education imparted by the local institutions was discouraged and new educational philosophies were promoted, which aimed at converting the local people into Christians. Although Aligarh movement did a lot of work for the social, political and economic uplift of the Muslims, it however lacked in the religious sphere and could not work commendably for the religious training of the Muslims. The working strategy of the Aligarh was based on the cooperation with the British rulers, which confronted it with the Orthodox ulama who did not consider it a reformatory movement for the Muslims. The Orthodox ulama believed that the Muslims' welfare and renaissance could only be possible by pursuing Islamic way of life, which the Aligarh glaringly ignored. The lack of stress on the religious aspect of Muslims in the Aligarh had brought adverse effects on the spread of Islam, which apparently suppressed the religious tinge in the Muslim way of life. In order to combat this lethargy in the religious sphere, the ulama decided to launch a movement for the religious training of the Muslims of India. They believed that if they did not adopt measures to defend the religion, the Muslims would ultimately lose their identity as a nation. For this purpose, they began their movement with the establishment of institutions to impart religious training. Dar-e-Uloom Deoband: The Tehreek-e-Deoband was started with the establishment of a madrasa at Deoband for religious education. The madrasa was named as Dar-e-Uloom-e-Deoband and was started at Deoband, a small town of Saharpur. It began functioning on 14th April 1866 in a small mosque. Founders of Deoband: It is believed that a reputed saint and Sufi, Haji Muhammad Abid, floated the idea of the establishment of this madrasa for imparting religious education to the Muslims. He suggested that funds should be collected and a madrasa be established. Haji Muhammad Abid took lot of pains in the collection of funds and collected a substantial amount. He then informed Maulana Muhammad Qasim of the result of his efforts and requested him to come and teach at Deoband. A managing committee including Maulvi Muhammad Qasim, Maulana Fazlul Rahman, Maulana Zulfikar Ali and Maulana Muhammad Mahmud was set up. Maulana Muhammad Yaqub, a leading educationist, was appointed as the headmaster. Though Haji Muhammad Abed is said to be the original founder of the Darul Uloom, but the quick development and success of the institution was mainly due to the sincere efforts of Maulana Muhammad Qasim, who joined it a couple of years after its establishment. Maulana Muhammad Qasim was appointed its first principal and along with his cousin Maulana Muhammad Yaqub rendered valuable services for the development of the institution. Maulana Muhammad Qasim and Maulana Muhammad Yaqub brought with them rich experience in the educational field, which extremely helped in the organizational sector of the Darul Uloom. Maulana Muhammad Qasim left his government service to join the Darul Uloom at a paltry salary of ₹10 a month. Maulana Muhammad Qasim was a great teacher and religious preacher. Due to his dedicated services for the institution, the madrasa at Deoband with the time came to be known as Qasim al-Uloom Deoband. Apart from Maulana Muhammad Qasim and Maulana Muhammad Yaqub and other eminent persons like Sheikh al-Hind, Maulana Mahmudul Hasan and Maulana Shibli, Ahmad Somani also imparted religious education at the Darul Uloom. Maulana Shabir Ahmad Usmani did not take any remuneration for his services while Maulana Mahmudul Hasan worked on a monthly pay of Rs 50 only. Maulana Muhammad Qasim worked day and night to spread the Tehreek-e-Deoband in every corner of the country. He established a number of other institutions of religious education. The number of students in Deoband grew with amazing quickness, mainly due to Maulana Qasim's efforts. In 1931, 900 students were on the rolls of the Darul Uloom who came from UP, Bengal, NWFP and Bukhara. The activities of the Darul Uloom were not restricted to the subcontinent, but it spread the light of religious education to the other parts of the world as well. The Darul Uloom attracted fairly a large number of students from other parts of the world due to its high educational standard. It has been rated as one of the prestigious seats of Islamic learning and next to the Azhar University of Cairo, the most respected theological academy of the Muslim world. Administratively, Darul Uloom was an excellent setup which provided administrative guidance to other educational institutions. In the sphere of syllabi, conduct of examination and imparting of education in different disciplines, Darul Uloom at Deoband followed Madrasa Rahimiyya established by Shah Waliullah's father in the teaching of Hadith and other religious disciplines. But it also had a number of features of British educational system which were division of students in regular academic groups, maintenance of attendance registers and written examinations, These characteristics introduced a disciplined conduct in the working of madrasa which produced amazing results both in academic and administrative sectors of the institution. It was all due to the broad vision, saintliness and great influence of Maulana Muhammad Qasim, who put his soul into the Darul Uloom to make it an ideal institution of the Muslim world. As already mentioned, the Darul Uloom started functioning in a small mosque as it had no building. However, immediately after its establishment, the work for the construction of a building for the Darul Uloom began. A huge building was raised gradually with different departments which included Darul Hadith and Darul Tafsir. As most important and famous departments, Darul Uloom has its own library with a large collection of excellent and rare books on different subjects. Teachers of Darul Uloom. Darul Uloom Deoband has been a place of prestigious learnings where people with extraordinary qualifications rendered services for the noble task of the impart of religious education. Deoband produced men of high intellectual status who worked commendably for the spread of Islam in the subcontinent. These respected personalities include Shah Abdur Rahman, Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi, Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani, Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, Sheikh ul Hind, Maulana Mahmud ul Hassan, Maulana Abdul Haq, Maulana Shabir Ahmad Usmani, Maulana Abadullah Sindhi, Mufti Kifayatullah, Maulana Ahmad Ali Lahori, Maulana Mufti Muhammad Shafi as the most famous persons who were benefited from the Deoband. Maulana Shabir Ahmad Usmani was the trusted companion of Quaid-e-Azam during the freedom movement. Darul Uloom Deoband got the services of great scholars who served there as teachers. Maulana Muhammad Qasim was its first principal who raised the institution to the pinnacle of glory and fame with his devotion in the academic and administration aspect of the Darul Uloom. Apart from him, Maulana Muhammad Yaqub, Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi, Maulana Mahmudul Hassan, Anwar Shah Kashmiri, Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani and Maulana Shabir Ahmad Usmani served the Darul Uloom. They were highly pious men who inspired their students with their spiritual and academic qualities. Political trends of Deoband. Deoband was influenced by the All India National Congress in its political trend. However, there was one clear group under Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi and Maulana Shabir Ahmad Somani who differed with Congress in political approach. The Madani group formed their political organization as Jamaatul Ulama Hind and supported the political philosophy of the Congress. The Thanvi group set up Jamaat-ul-Ulama Islam and supported Pakistan movement and extending valuable assistance to the Quaid-e-Azam. The Madani group, which included Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani and Mufti Kifayatullah, was influenced by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. This group worked in collaboration with Congress and was opposed to the partition of India. Educational aspect of the Deoband. Darul Uloom Deoband is regarded as a prestigious seat of Muslim learnings. It imparts education in different disciplines which include education on Quran, Hadith, Arabic, Islamic jurisprudence, philosophy and Islamic history. The ulama of the Deoband are considered as the highly respected personalities in the religious faith and their fatwas carry great authenticity and importance in the whole of subcontinent. Maulana Muhammad Qasim remained the head of Darul Uloom till 1818. He died on 15 April 1888 at a young age of 49 years. Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi became the head of the institution after the death of Maulana Qasim. Maulana Rashid Ahmad was a great theologian, a Sufi and a Muhaddis. He was in favor of Muslim participation in the Congress politics. Maulana Rashid Ahmad died in 1905. After his death, Sheikhul Hind Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan took over the charge of Deoband. Hogg completed his studies in 1873. He joined Darul Uloom as a teacher after the completion of his education. He has written a number of books and translated the Holy Quran. A comparison between Darul Uloom Deoband and Aligarh. The Tehreek-e-Deoband immediately after its inception did not see eye to eye with the Aligarh movement due to the working strategy of the Aligarh. The Aligarh movement was based on the policy of reconciliation with the British, whereas the Tehreek-e-Deoband stressed on the religious aspects of the Muslims and was opposed to the policy of reconciliation with the British. The completely different approach to the politics had widened the gulf between the authorities of Deoband and Aligarh. Maulana Muhammad Qasim, a leading and important personality of the Deoband, remained engaged in the controversy with Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. They had sharp differences on the political matters of the country. Maulana Qasim and his companions actively fought against the British and for some time set up their own government in their own area. On the other hand, Sir Syed Ahmad, though very active during the War of 1857, remained loyal to the British. He had adopted the reconciliatory posture simply because he felt it essential for the protection and revival of the Muslims after the war. Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, Maulana Qasim's companion who succeeded him as the head of the Darul Uloom, was put in jail after the war, while his spiritual mentor had to flee to Makkah to avoid British wrath. These events compelled these gentlemen to adopt a rigid posture against the British. When Sir Syed Ahmad advised the Muslims to keep away from the Congress politics, Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi opposed him. The anti-British attitude was a marked feature of Deoband, whereas Aligarh followed the policy of cooperation with the British. The leaders and ulama of Deoband emphasized on the religious superiority of the Muslims and believed that the Muslims must strictly adhere to their religious customs so that they could easily combat the impact of secularism. Another glaring contrast between Deoband and Aligarh was their different approach toward the educational system. Aligarh laid stress on the Western and English education. MU College was the center of English teaching and its main objective was to prepare a bunch of students well equipped in the Western style of education. On the other side, Deoband was a seat of Islamic and religious learning. It laid stress on the religious disciplines. However, despite the differences, the two great institutions, Deoband and Aligarh, did enjoy some mutuality of thought and action on certain issues. A number of important leaders of both movements were desirous of Muslim welfare and their social and economic revival. When Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan became the head of Deoband, he encouraged contacts between Aligarh and Deoband. In his time, the sentiments of brotherhood and amity between the two institutions received a fillip. In 1906, Jamaat al-Ansar was established at Deoband. Sahibzada Aftab Ahmad Khan of Aligarh College attended the meeting of this organization. It was agreed that the Darul Uloom Deoband would make special arrangements for teaching religious subjects to the graduates of Aligarh College, while similar facilities would be extended by the Aligarh College to teach English and Western subjects to the students who had completed their studies at Deoband. In view of this agreement, a central institution, Jamaat-e-Millia, was established at Delhi in November 1920. This institution included many features of both Aligarh and Deoband. However, the political tension between the two institutions could not be lessened till 1947. This led to many controversies, but the establishment of a central institution combining the features of two movements and imparting education to the Muslims in religious and Western fields did a healthier and unifying effect.